we will use a chair, and we'll use a blanket if you got one, or a pillow, and blocks if you have them. All right, and let's start on our backs. And you can just be in constructive rest pose with your knees bent to start. Just begin by noticing all the places that you're making contact with the floor, or maybe your props if you're using any. You might take a sigh. Notice when you sigh how that feels through your body. You might also notice how it feels in your mind. Sometimes a sigh can release tension in your mind as well. And feel for letting go to gravity. Just kind of letting go of anything you might be holding up or any extra effort you might be putting in right now. Might widen the feet and lean the knees against one another. Noticing as you breathe where you feel the movement of your breath without having to change it, just simply noticing. Now you could begin to widen your inhale. And by that I mean feeling it three-dimensionally in your torso. And you could lengthen your exhale. You could blow out through pursed lips or out through your mouth. Feel for making your exhale long if you can. Good. Now you can transition to breathing out through your nose as well, or do whatever works best for you. I'm going to take our feet hips distance apart and knees hips distance and just begin to rock your pelvis. So let's exhale and press the low back down toward the floor, and inhale to rock it forward, and just notice how much movement feels good to you right now in this area. How much do you want to press it to the ground, and how far forward can you rock it? Good. Now next time you exhale, let's press the low back down and draw the right knee in. We're going to hold behind the leg and inhale, stretch the leg up, and exhale, bend it and repeat. So even though you've done this, at least those that are here live have done this plenty of times with me, can you pay attention as you do it? Notice what you're feeling. That's one way to pay attention. Just noticing where you feel the tight muscles, if any, what's happening with your low back now. Good. Now the next time you get it up there, let's roll the ankle. And then roll the other way. Good. Now let's rebend the knee and hold the knee with your right hand. And we're just going to make big circles with the knee. Your left leg can be bent or straight. So noticing you've chosen one direction, right? Do about 3 in one direction, and then let's reverse it. And you're making these circles as big as feels okay. So I'm straightening my left leg just so I can make them a little bigger, have a little more space. Good. Now let's come to the center and let go with your hand and see if it feels okay to just hold the leg there. Feels okay on your back. And now we're going to try to circle without the hand. So could you still go really slowly, so that you can make them big? And by big, I just mean what's big for you, okay? What feels big for you. And you'll have to stabilize with your core, not consciously, but that's what will be happening. And then reverse it. And just notice, you might notice clicking or popping in certain spots. You might notice tightness or resistance in some spots. That's all just information for you. Good, now let's bring it back to the center and hold the knee again. Let's inhale, tuck your chin down like you're making a double chin. And as you exhale, let's try to keep that double chin and curl your head up towards your knee. You might be able to touch your nose to your knee and you might not. And now let's let the head come back down, the foot come down, and let's straighten out both legs on the floor and just kind of shake them out and notice the two sides. Take an inhale and a sigh. All right, second side. We'll inhale, let's stretch arms overhead. And exhale, bring the left knee in. Your right leg can be bent or straight. Using your left hand will begin to make circles. Let's do the circles first because I started with that, okay? Just around and around. Again, noticing how this side is different. And now let's reverse. Good. And then coming back to the center. Now we'll try to let go with the hand if that works for you. And do the same thing, a few in each direction, without any hands if you can. Keep breathing. And again, you're just getting information. Is it easier? Is it harder? Is it the same? What's your range of motion like? Good. And then coming back to the center, now we'll hold behind the leg. If you've got your right leg straight, for some of you, it might feel better to bend the right leg for this. They're going to be straightening up toward the ceiling and bending again, okay? And to keep your focus and keep paying attention, you might just notice, what you're feeling. What are the sensations? You also can notice other things, like when do you start to get distracted, or where's your mind going, or are there any emotions present for you today? And we can leave the leg up there if you'd like and just roll the ankle a few times in each direction. Try to soften through your jaw. And then we'll bend the knee again and hold it. Let's inhale to tuck your chin down, keeping that chin tuck. Let's exhale. Feel for lifting up toward the knee. And then lowering back down on the inhale. And exhale, releasing the legs, straightening them out on the floor. Taking an inhale here. And an exhale. Good. Now just keep staying with legs straight for a moment. You can release your arms wherever they feel best. Just going to wiggle the legs around. And by that, all I'm doing is kind of like windshield wipers with the feet and the whole leg. So the whole leg is flopping side to side, both legs. And then pause. And just notice any change in sensations. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now we're going to take the knees to bent, and I'm going to take a block if you have it. Now, if you don't have a block and you're doing the recording, you could use like a filled up water bottle for this as well. We're going to take the block. I'm holding the block on the short ends of the block, the shortest ends, and I'm just going to have my hands flat, my palms press into it rather than grasping it. Okay, and at first I'm just going to inhale and straighten those arms up toward the ceiling. as though I'm trying to just touch my fingertips to the ceiling. So I'm going as far up as I can. So I'm stretching the space between the shoulder blades. And exhale, can you take your pelvis into neutral? So you might notice you're pressing your low back down. Does it feel okay to just have it in neutral without pressing it down? Okay, good. Inhale, you're still stretching up. And now exhale, let's draw the shoulder blades down toward the floor. It's like a retraction, but there's not space to really retract because the floor is there, right? So you're just drawing them downward, okay? Now let's inhale, reach back up, and then exhale, draw down. Okay, now inhale, reach back up. And as you exhale, let's slowly press your hands into the block as you start to take the arms toward the floor above you, but go really slowly. Keep breathing. So you notice when your arms start to bend, if they do. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale, arms up and over. Inhale, back up. And exhale, let's bring the block to your belly or your prop to the side and just pause for a moment. Notice how your hands feel, your wrists, your shoulders, your back, following your breath in and out. All right, now we're going to do something a little different but similar, okay? So I'm going to take the block again or your object and I'm going to take it up toward the ceiling, but then we're going to bend the elbows, not even at a 45-degree angle. So even a little less than that, just a little bend. And then we'll press our hands into the block. And now this time we're going to draw our ribs, the back of our ribs down to the floor. So it's a little different. We're turning our core on. Okay, or we're trying to anyway. Okay, now on your exhale, let's keep pressing into the block and taking the block toward the floor above your head, but only going as far as you can without losing your core engagement. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale. So you drawing those ribs down, tightening the abdominals if you can. Inhale up. And you're pressing your hands into your block. And so this isn't like a big amount of effort unless you're holding some sort of weight in your hands or heavy water bottle, but instead it's more of just a noticing. You're noticing that you're engaging your abdominal muscles. You're noticing how far your arms can go over, and you're noticing the back side of your body pressing into the floor. One more time. Good, and then let's just take the block to the side. Let's take your hands up toward the ceiling and just roll the wrists around and let your fingers spread around too. And then go the opposite way too. And just notice how your hands feel. One more time there. Good, and now let's spread the arms out to a T from your shoulders. If it feels okay, you can have your palms up. Let's widen the feet as wide as a yoga mat and begin to windshield wiper the knees side to side, rolling over your feet. And you get to control how deep this is with the knees, like how far they go down. And just noticing where are you feeling it. So every asana or movement that we do, some of our moves will be traditional yoga asanas and some won't. You're trying to pay attention and be present. Okay? If you don't, it's okay, right? But the more you pay attention to what you're doing, the more changes you'll begin to see, right? Okay, back to the center. We're going to keep our arms spread out. Let's inhale, spread the arms as wide as you can. So I like to think fingertips away from wrists and fingers away from each other. Good, keep breathing. Now wrists away from elbows, elbows away from shoulders. Good, now let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's wrap your right arm on top of your left, crossing the arms so the fingers come around the sides of the shoulders or the ribs where mine reach. I have more space. I don't have a lot in front on my chest here, so I can get my fingers around to my shoulder blades, but yours might not. Just notice where it feels okay to reach to. And as you inhale, you're going to breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Like widen it against the floor. Good, and then exhale. Now let's inhale and spread those arms wide again. And exhale, let's take left arm on top of right, so same thing. Okay, notice where it feels okay to reach to with the hug. And then as you inhale, let's feel the space between your shoulder blades expand if you can. And exhale. And then let's inhale, open up the arms again. And exhale, let's just bring the arms down towards your sides. Okay, we're going to roll onto one side and take a firm blanket. Now, if you have a foam roller, you could do this with that instead. Okay, I'm going to show it with both. I really like it with the roller. So what I've done is if it's not a firm blanket, it doesn't work really well. So like if you're doing this on the recording, you could get a couple of blankets and roll them together. You could use a couple towels. You want at least your back to be on it. I've made mine long enough so I'm going to sit on it and have my head on it too, okay? So you could do, if you can arrange that. If you can't, so okay, I guess I should be more clear. If you have one of those short foam rollers, you'll probably want to use a blanket instead. If you have a full length foam roller, you could use that, okay? And you'll see why. Okay, so first I'm going to sit on it, boom, and my head goes on it. So say your blankets aren't quite long enough for your head, you could use a pillow or something below it. Okay. You would do the same thing on a long roller. The blanket or the roller is situated between my shoulder blades up there, right? So I'm going to do protract, retract here. I'm going to inhale, reach my hands up toward the ceiling as far as I can. And I'm going to exhale, keeping arms straight and equidistant. I'm going to draw my shoulder blades like I'm squeezing the blanket or the roller. And then repeat. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, squeeze down. Keep going. So you're getting that protract, retract feedback from the blanket. I'm going to show it with the roller. I've only got a long one here. If I had a short one, it might bother my low back if I sat on the floor and then did this with my shoulders. That's why I recommend the blanket if you only have a short one. But you can play around and see. So same thing on the roller. I just like it because it's a little firmer, so I can really feel my shoulder blades squeezing. And it also works my core a little bit because I'm having to stabilize. Good, so you've been doing protract, retract, right? And then next time you protract, that's reaching towards ceiling. Let's open the arms wide out to the sides if that feels okay on your shoulders. You don't have to have them high, they could be low. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make snow angels so you can see how that feels. Now, we were talking about knots beneath the shoulder blades, and so we're doing some stretches and movements for that right now. You can find the ball massage for the shoulders. We've done it several times, and it should be located in the video library under the ball category. Because there's some really good ones for getting in there, and it involves snow angels too, okay? I think we did those anyway. Okay, next time you come down, just pause wherever you want your arms. Follow your breath in. Maybe take a sigh. Good. And then let's slowly come off of your roller or your blanket. And you can move that out of the way. Good. And we're going to come onto our bellies. If you need a blanket below your ankles for your feet, go for it. Okay, and we'll start in Sphinx pose. Now, I can't see you all at home. No, I can't see any of you actually. I can see like your heads or something, but I don't get to see your movement. So what I want you to be sure of here is, you see how I am right now. I've got my shoulders up by my ears. Could you move the shoulder blades down your back, away from your ears? Okay. Just notice how that feels. You can relax your neck. You don't have to have your head looking forward or up. In fact, you might just want to look down between the thumbs. Pressing the pubic bone down. And you know that if you've got shoulder issues or back issues that this aggravates, you could always come lower with elbows spread wide, hands stacked, right? You could always be here. Okay, a couple more breaths. Good, and then we're just going to lower down. Okay, we're going to do some low back strengthening, some back muscle strengthening. All right? You just work at your own abilities, and it's really good to get those back muscles strong. All right, so what we're going to do is forehead can come down to the floor by tucking the chin, if you can, okay? And I'm going to take my arms back at my sides to start. And right away, I'm going to engage my butt muscles by pressing my pubic bone down, okay? And I'm just going to inhale. I'm not going to worry about what my shoulders are doing. Palms are down, but I'm just going to let my shoulders, they could roll toward the floor or whatever. Okay, and I'm going to try to inhale and see if I can lift the shoulders and the head off the floor, and exhale, come back down. You might only be able to come up a little bit. I'm keeping my feet on the floor. I'm also keeping my hands on the floor right now. I'm not working the shoulders. And I'm just noticing how this is. Are you engaging your glutes? Do you notice that? And for me, this is tiring, right? This is a lot of work. Okay, and then come down and just rest. You could pad your head, you could turn it to one side, you can wiggle the hips a little bit back and forth. Notice how this is feeling in your own body, your own low back. Modify as needed. Okay. Now we're going to play around with the legs. So you can have your head however you want to, of course, always. And we're going to press the pubic bone down. And so I'm going to really isolate the legs and the glutes rather than using the back so much. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to press the pubic bone down, inhale, lift the right leg, trying to keep it straight. So it doesn't have to go high. I'm not lifting my hip off the floor. Exhale down, now the left. And I'm just going to go side to side a little bit. And just notice this is a totally different focus, right? Or is it for you, right? Is this completely different for you? So trying to notice that. Oftentimes, I'll just see people trying to go way high on this, okay? So we're not doing that. It's low. Okay, and then come down, wiggle, waggle. And see, some people like to lift both legs, so you could try to lift both legs. You could hold it. I'm going to hold it and breathe. I'm engaging my glutes. I'm stretching my toes like I'm trying to reach that wall behind me. I feel all my leg muscles working, breathing. And release. And just wiggle, waggle the hips. It might feel good to bend the knees and windshield wiper. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back to the arms at the sides and the forehead down. And I'm still going to keep the hands down, and I'm going to let the shoulders relax. It's almost like bad posture. Normally I say shoulder heads away from the floor and come up, but we're doing it just a little differently, different focus. And I'm going to lift the torso again on the inhale, but I'm going to do the legs too. You can do that if you want, or you can pick one, okay? So I'm going to inhale up, exhale down. And what do you feel more of working? There's no right answer. You're just kind of paying attention to what you're doing. And whichever one you feel more of working, put it down. Like I felt my legs working more, so I'm going to put my legs down. And I'm going to come back to doing the back and just lifting the torso. Just out of curiosity, not for, there's no right or wrong. Okay, and then let's rest. Rest, rest, rest. I'm going to do one more. You can do just the legs, just the torso. You can hold, that's what I'm going to suggest, is just holding the pose, okay? You can lift the arms off the floor this time if you want to too, all right? That's what I'm going to do. All right, arms back when you're ready. Inhale up. I'm rolling the shoulders back too. I'm adding in a little retraction of the shoulder blades. Breathing. I'm trying to straighten my legs. And release. Good. This is going to press yourself up. Now, if you can bear weight on the knees, you can come into child's pose. If you cannot bear weight on the knees, I would just have a seat and let your back round a little bit so that you can just let the back stretch out. Right? So here I am in child's pose, taking a few breaths, but you could also, right, just sit any way you want. Let the spine round or fold forward. See what feels right to you. Okay. Let's take a couple more breaths there. Feeling it go in and feeling it go out. Good, and now let's slowly come up onto our feet. If you would like to come into a forward fold for a few breaths, you could do that using your chair or not. You can bend your knees as much as you'd like. And let your jaw soften. Good, and then if you're still forward folding, you bend those knees and come up in the way that feels best in your body. Good, and then when you get up there, let's do a little swing and twist. All right, let's come back to the center and we're going to use our chairs. So you might like to have your chair in a position where it won't, you're definitely going to like having it in a position where it won't slide, okay? We don't want it sliding. I don't need to put mine against the wall. Mine's not going to slide in here, but if you need to, you could put it against something, okay? And then let's stand in Tadasana, which is mountain pose. And just get oriented here. Arms can hang down if you'd like. Feel your breath go in and out. Soften your jaw. And one thing to be aware of, when you've got knots in your shoulders, your shoulder blades and all that area is just how you're holding your shoulders regularly. Even if you don't have knots, how are you holding your shoulders? Do you tend to have them, do they ride up a little high? And if so, is it possible to allow them to just relax? You're not forcing them down. You're just trying to let them go. Let your jaw soften. Feel the breath go in and out. Good. All right, and then we'll stand facing the chair. the seat. You could also do this on the back of a couch or some other places too, a countertop. I'm going to see if this works. Okay, we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, let's fold toward the chair. You can bend the knees at any time. So I'm going to do plank pose with the chair. I've got my fingers kind of wrapped around the edges. I'm going to bring my wrists below my hands. Now, if you know that it's going to be hard for you in this position, you could walk the feet a little closer, right, like this. If you think, yeah, I think you could probably handle it, you can walk the feet back so you've got this slant. I've got my hands on the chair and I'm going to protract my shoulder blades. That means widen them, right? Could you retract them? Draw them together. And then could you protract them? And keep breathing. So you'll notice I'm not bending the elbows and I'm not sagging the hips. So I'm not doing this, all right? I'm keeping my hips the same. Whew. And this will really work those muscles between the shoulder blades. I'm letting my neck just go. And then take a break. Okay, take a break by walking your feet forward. Inhale to reach your chest forward. Exhale, bend the knees. And inhale, stand. Let's reach the arms up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, arms out to the sides and down. I just want to show you something as you're resting. So when you're doing this, right, maybe just let me bring this a little closer, okay? So when you're doing these, when you're retracting, do you see how right now I'm also elevating like this? We don't want to do this. So the shoulder blades are away from the ears, and when they retract, they come closer together, but they don't go up by the ears, okay? They stay just in that neutral alignment. Okay, let's do another round. And I know you're bearing a lot of weight. Say this is way too much weight for you. Another option, other than a countertop or or back of a couch, would be to stand at the wall like this. So you're not bearing any weight, and to do this at the wall, okay? I should have told you that first. So say like it's not working for one of your joints, your wrists, elbows, or shoulders. Something's not working with this chair one. Try the wall so you still get that activity. All right, here we go. Inhale, arms up. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, then step the feet the amount away the distance that works for you. Start with the protraction, tuck your tail. Okay, notice, are your shoulder blades away from your ears? And then when you're ready, let's inhale, see if you can retract. Exhale, protract. Repeat. It doesn't have to be like that with the breath. The breath can be however it works for you. And these are really working my shoulders right now. And I do this stuff all the time. So if it's feeling hard, that's correct, okay? And if it's not feeling hard, then you might want to check with what you're doing. Like check the video, if you, again, do it another time. This time, let's go to down dog. The key there, and it looked like it, but I'm not sure, and you might want to see me for a second. When I said if it's, if you want to come to the chair, but it's hard, and, just don't walk the feet as far, you don't want to be like this with butt up. I mean, you can do that, but you won't get the core involved at all, right? Instead, if you can tuck the tail and do it, you'll get a little more. Okay, but that's it. You don't have to do it again. You can walk toward the chair, bend the knees as you inhale, reach the chest forward, and exhale, start to sit back and then stand up. Inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale, arms out to the sides and down. All right, we're gonna use the chair for balance. I'm gonna have it on, I'll mirror you, so just have it on your right side. And well, gosh, if you have your block, you could use the block here. If you don't, you'll be able to do it without too. And so with the block, I'm going to stand on it with my right foot or my inside foot. Okay, so the wall can work too. For me, I'm short, I can still reach the chair. If it doesn't work, you can hold a wall. Okay, so we're going to do swinging this outer leg. All right, so we're just going to breathe and start to swing. Now, I do this all the time without a block. I do it every time before, not every time, but I try to do it every time before I go running. This is one of my warm-ups, okay? You can do it for walking, hiking. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and then let's just step off of the block onto the floor. Notice the two sides of your body. Take a breath in and out. I know the last time we did these, we did pelvic lifts as well. You can find that video if you want to. I'm not going to do that because we've got some other stuff planned. All right, let's do the other side. I'm going to take the inside foot onto your block or just stand. Okay, and when you're ready, start your swinging. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then stepping down and noticing. Notice your arms, and let's spread across your collarbones. Follow your breath in and follow your breath out. And notice all 10 toes of you on the floor. You can wiggle them. Good. All right, we're going to come back to our chair. We won't need the block. You can just stay on the same side. I'm going to inhale to stand tall. Exhale, let's bring that outer knee up. Good. Inhale, stand tall. Very slowly, let's take that knee out to the side. The sole of your foot faces the ceiling. You just go as far as you can without leaning, okay? Or without distorting anything, right? So it's okay if it has to be down here or not far out. Okay, keep breathing. And then on your next exhale, let's try to turn that hip inward. So the inner knee faces the floor. So there's no need to do any of this, okay, leaning. Just take it lower so that you can move just the hip, okay? We're trying to isolate the hip. Okay, inhale, and then exhale. Now we're trying to take that knee back behind your body. So see, this is hip extension, right? I don't have much range. Hip extension is smaller, right? I just notice what you do have. Keep breathing. Good, and then exhale. Let's bring that leg forward and up as high as you can without distorting your body. And then down. Okay, so by distorting in the front, someone might be leaning back or, just tucking or rounding, right? None of that, just as high as you can within the range of your own hip. Let's turn around or move your prop to the other side. Okay, inhale, stand tall. Exhale, outer leg comes up. So we're trying to move just the hip. I wish I had a femur bone and a pelvic bone so I could show this with the hip joint. Maybe I can get some images for you. Okay, inhale here. And exhale, we're going to take that leg out to the side just as far as you can without any leaning. Good, inhale. Now exhale, now we're internally rotating it, again, without, some distortion going on. Like I can get it up here, right? But you see what I'm doing with my torso. Okay, good, inhale. And then exhale, taking it behind your back without leaning forward. So I'm straight up and down. Good. For some people, you won't be able to go back. Okay, and then come forward and up, and then down. Good. Let's step side to side a little bit. We're going to do it again, reversing the order on the first side. Inhale, stand tall. We're going to start coming forward still. Exhale, forward with the knee. Good. Inhale. Now exhale, we're just going straight back. Good. Inhale. Exhale, we're coming out to the side where the sole of the foot faces behind you. Okay. Good. Inhale. Good. Exhale, we stay out to the side and we're just rotating the sole of the foot to the floor. So external. Good. Inhale. Good. Exhale, bring it forward. It might go further up and down. Good. All right. Second side. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, outside leg up. Good. Inhale. Exhale, straight back. Good. Bending the knee. Inhale. Exhale, out to the side with the sole of the foot facing behind you. Without leaning, straight up and down. Good. Inhale. Exhale, staying out to the side, sole of the foot faces the floor. Good. Inhale. Exhale, bringing it forward. Maybe it goes up and then down. Good. And now let's just hula hoop the hips around. And breathe. That can feel like a lot. I mean, I'm sure that did feel like a lot of work. Well, I'm not sure, but you're working the hips when you're doing that, hopefully, okay? And by paying attention and going slowly, we're also working with our range of motion. All right, let's stay with the feet wide, bringing the hips into center, doing a little crescent moon pose, okay? Shadrasana, okay. Inhale up. If the shoulders feel okay to do so, we're going to keep the arms up. I'm taking one hand and grabbing the wrist of the other hand, stretching up. Good, and leaning away from the hand I'm grabbing. We're leaning toward the opposite side. Good. And then inhale back up to center. Gonna get a hold of the other wrist, stretch it up. And then exhale, lean in. I just let my head lean on the bottom arm, so my neck is at ease. Good. Let's come back to center and do both sides again. Softening your jaw. Good. And then coming up to the center and exhale, slowly taking the arms out and down. Now let's inhale, squeeze the shoulders up, and exhale, let them drop. Up and let them drop. And now up and around and down and again. Good. We're going to use a wall for this next one. I know I didn't say that in the beginning, so if you can find a wall space, that would be great. What I'm going to do is my side that's on the wall, facing the wall, I'm going to take, let me just think about this. I think it's best if you take the outer leg forward. I know I've done it both ways. So my outer leg is forward. My inner leg has stepped back in somewhat of a warrior one pose. But I'm going to get close to the wall. It doesn't have to be a warrior one pose. It's just that one leg forwards, one leg's back. Okay. And I'm going to take my inner arm forward with the palm on the wall. Okay. I'm going to reach it up, and I'm going to, as I reach it up, it's staying on the wall. I'm going to turn my chest to face the wall. And then I'm going to take my hand up. If this were a clock face, for me it would be about 2 o'clock, depending on which side you're doing. It might be 11 o'clock. Okay, and I press my arm into the wall, and then I'm going to slowly try to turn my chest away from the wall. Now, as I do this, I'm going to move my shoulder blade down my back. Okay. Good. And I'm turning my chest around to the front. You might not be able to get it all the way there, depending on the health of that shoulder or the mobility of that shoulder. Couple more breaths there. You can also use a doorway, Janet. You could use a doorway, and just hold the inner edge and just kind of stretch back. Yeah, right there. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yep. And all we're trying to do is we're trying to stretch in here. Okay. So if you got that going on, then you got it. Okay. A couple more breaths. And then you can slowly turn your chest toward the wall and bring the arm down. I'm going to show you another way to do this. This is a really good pec front of shoulder stretch, which can help those knots that come in the upper back and behind the shoulder blades. Another way to do this if you have the wall, okay, this is with the wall, is kind of dynamically. So dynamically, you'd bring in the arm up, you turn to face the wall, you turn and stretch, and then you turn to face the wall, bring it back around, right? And you just kind of repeat them. Okay, this is a good one to do every day. All right, next side. Okay, so other arm. You can do the other side of the doorway, or just come on the other side of the door if you're using a door. In this version, I've got my outer leg forward, right? I'm going to start with my palm facing the wall if you've got a wall. And then I'm going to bring the arm up like a giant pinwheel and turn my chest toward the wall as I do that. When I get it to where I want it, whatever angle I want it, I'll move my shoulder blade away from my ear and then slowly start to turn my chest a little bit away or a lot away from the wall. It's okay to have the arm bent or straight. Couple more breaths. Good, and then when you're ready, turning the chest back toward the wall, arm can come up and around or down at your hip. And you can try a couple of the dynamic ones too. Usually I do those first. Good. Then you can step away from the wall. Just wiggle around a little bit. Notice how you feel. Good. All right. Garudasana arms. We're going to inhale, take our arms wide. Garudasana is eagle. We're going to exhale, cross your right arm. I'm doing my right arm, so it might be opposite to you. And when you get here, not everybody benefits from eagle arms. It only really benefits if you can get this little hook, but your body might not want to do the hook, right? And then there's no real benefit to being like this, okay? At least not that I can think of or that I know. So if you can't get the hook, do the hug, okay? Okay, so here we are. I'm going to try to bring my shoulder blades, just relax them away from my ears. And then inhale and breathe and stretch into the space between my shoulder blades. You might want to turn your neck one way or another. You can play with that as well. Relax your jaw. Good, and then inhale, open up. You could stretch back if you want. And exhale, let's experiment with the second side. So you can check and see if they'll hook. If it hurts to hook, you got some shoulder impingement going on, then don't do the hook, okay? And inhale, breathe into that space between your shoulder blades. And exhale, relax the area around your neck. Just let the shoulders come down. Breathe into that space. You can move the neck. Sometimes I like to lean it away from the upper arm. Good, and release. Let's inhale, open wide. Exhale, arms down, and just shake them out. Okay, one more little shoulder thing here. We're gonna take the right arm up in front of you. So my elbow is in front of my shoulder. Okay, and take the left hand and hold the outer elbow. Okay, so I'm like this. And then I'm going to move my shoulder blades down my back actively, and then try to press my elbow out to the side, but I won't let it go. So it's just feeling some strengthening here. And also I'm going to protract the shoulders as well. So I'm drawing them forward. Good. And release. Just shake them out. Let's do the other side. Okay, so inhale, left arm up, bent at about a right angle. Right hand wraps around, holds the outside, shoulder blades down, and then maybe forward if you can, pressing the elbow out to the side without letting it go. Relax your jaw. Breathe. And release. Good. Just shake them out. Now we'll take the hands behind the back. Now, if you can't do this or if it doesn't feel good to you, you can take a strap between your arms. I really like it with the strap too, but I didn't tell you to get one. So you can also clasp hands. So you can either hold a strap and try to retract the shoulder blades, or you can interlace your fingers and try to roll those shoulder heads back. Another option, just to give you too many options so you won't know what to do, is you could sit in a chair. I like this one too, that Titanic pose, okay, where you're reaching the chest forward. And this is a nice passive one where you're not doing as much work, just letting the weight of your body against the chair do it. Good, let your jaw relax, let your neck relax. Breathe in and out. Good. Nice. Coming into any forward fold with your shoulders relaxed. That could mean seated on a chair, right? Anything like this. That could mean sitting on the floor in any leg position, right? It could be like, or here. It could even be a knees to chest on your back, hugging your knees. Okay? That's a forward fold too. Let's take about 5 slow exhales in whichever one you've chosen. And then slowly finding your way onto your back when you're ready. You can get a prop for your head if you'd like. And choosing any kind of twisting pose. That could be windshield wipers. It could be a simple twist with your knees on one side, your arms spread out or not. Or it could be a legs crossed twist or knee down twist. And then slowly coming up and going to your second side. You don't have to do the same kind of twist on each side either. And then slowly coming up. And if there's any last poses you'd want to do before resting, please feel free to do them. Okay. And then finding yourself a resting pose, Shavasana, or any restorative pose. When you get there, just take in a few sighs. Noticing yourself lying here, all the contact points with the floor. And can you allow yourself to fully drop into your body here and into your experience just for the next minute? And thanks for joining me today.